Philip Bennett's eyes snap open to the hiss of a malfunctioning cryopod. The metallic taste of preservation fluid lingers in his mouth as status lights flicker across the pod's scratched display. Duration: 1,825 days. 5 years. He was only supposed to be under for 2 weeks. The pod's seal breaks with a pneumatic wheeze. Cold air rushes in, carrying the sharp scent of filtered oxygen and decay. Philip pushes himself up on weak arms, his 14-year-old frame stiff from years of artificial sleep. The cryobase stretches before him, rows of empty pods extending into darkness. Where is everyone? Warning. Life support systems operating at 47% capacity, announces the ship's computer, its voice echoing through the Star Wanderer's empty corridors. Current location: unknown. Navigation systems locked. Philip stumbles to the nearest console, his Mars colony prep training kicking in despite his disorientation. The screen displays a mess of unfamiliar code angular symbols that pulse with an alien pattern. He recognizes elements of binary architecture beneath the foreign encryption, but accessing the system proves impossible. A whirring sound makes him turn. In the doorway stands a humanoid figure, its white medical chassis damaged and sparking. Medical Assistant Unit 7 online, it announces. You may call me Zoe. I detect elevated stress levels. Would you like a sedative? No, Philip responds, studying the ship's status readouts. I need to know what happened here. He pulls up the security logs and his stomach drops. The footage shows the attack's sleek alien vessels surrounding the Star Wanderer, boarding parties cutting through the hull. The Malon. Everyone knew about them, the scavengers who preyed on human ships. The crew's final moments play out before him, the captain initiating emergency protocols, sending the ship into random jumps across space. Escape pods launching in all directions. Then his own pod, malfunctioning, keeping him safely frozen while chaos erupted around him. The Malon encryption is still active, Zoe informs him, her damaged circuits causing her voice to fluctuate. And it's broadcasting our location. My calculations suggest we have approximately 72 hours before additional salvage crews arrive. Philip's fingers hover over the console. He remembers the coding classes from his Mars prep program, basic stuff, meant for maintaining colony systems. This is different, alien, but as he studies the patterns, he begins to see familiar structures beneath the foreign symbols. I'll help you survive, Zoe offers, her medical protocols clearly driving her to assist. But you must decode their systems quickly. Philip nods, determination setting in. He's alone on a ghost ship, billions of miles from his intended destination, with only a damaged android for company. But he's also the son of 2 of Mars' colony's lead programmers. If anyone can hack an alien system, it's him. He just hopes he can do it before the Malon return to claim their prize. Philip's fingers flew across the console, testing different access protocols. Zoe, I need to establish a secure workspace. Where can we set up with the best access to ship systems? The medical bay offers optimal interface capabilities, Zoe replied, her damaged servos whirring as she gestured down the corridor. It maintains independent power systems and direct mainframe access. They relocated quickly, Philip scanning the familiar medical equipment his mother had shown him during the pre-launch tour. The irony wasn't lost on him. This bay was supposed to keep colonists healthy during their brief journey to Mars, not serve as a last stand against alien hackers. The medical bay's screens lit up as Philip logged in. A password prompt appeared, and he typed in his father's credentials, a backdoor access his dad had shared just in case during their final briefing. The system accepted the engineering override, but most critical functions remained locked behind the alien encryption. Life support systems now at 30% capacity, Zoe announced, her voice crackling with static. Estimated 72 hours of breathable atmosphere remaining. She paused, electrical sparks dancing across her chassis. My power core is also compromised. Operating time, 96 hours. Philip pulled up his father's engineering logs while scanning the encrypted systems. The alien code pulsed with an almost organic rhythm, but beneath it he could see fragments of the ship's original programming. "Wait," he muttered, spotting an anomaly in the waste management subroutines. "Dad, you clever bastard." He'd found a hidden program, isolated from the main systems and partially shielded from the Malon override. "The maintenance tunnels," Zoe observed, analyzing the system schematic. "Physical access required to bridge the isolated circuit. Can you scan the tunnel network?" "The hull breach, already mapping safe routes," Zoe interrupted, her medical sensors sweeping the ship's infrastructure. "Caution advised, multiple sections exposed to vacuum." They gathered essential tools and emergency patches. Philip's hands shook as he sealed his environment suit. He'd only practiced with these in simulations. The maintenance hatch creaked open, revealing a narrow passage dimly lit by emergency strips. "Movement detected," Zoe warned as they reached a junction. "Organic matter ahead." The bodies lay twisted in their Malon environment suits, caught mid-escape when the ship jumped. Philip averted his eyes, but something metallic caught his attention, a data tablet, still clutched in a dead alien's hand. "This could help decode their encryption," Philip said, carefully extracting the device. "If we can understand their—" A deep vibration rumbled through the hull. Warning lights flashed across Zoe's display. "Unknown vessel approaching," she reported. "Energy signature does not match human or Malon configurations." Philip stared at the maintenance tunnel ahead, then back at the Malon tablet. The ship's computer chimed. "Proximity alert. Unknown vessel initiating long-range scan." "How far to the waste management junction?" Philip asked, weighing the tablet in his hand. 30 meters, but the unknown vessel start the ship-wide scan. We need more data about our visitors." Philip activated his magnetic boots, advancing deeper into the tunnel. "Keep monitoring that ship. If they're not Malon, maybe we found help instead of trouble." The exposed wiring in the tunnel walls sparked intermittently, casting strange shadows as Philip moved forward. Each step brought him closer to his father's hidden program and either salvation or a dead end. The tablet felt heavy in his suit pocket, a potential key to the Malon encryption that might prove useless if he couldn't reach the junction in time. Behind him, Zoe's damaged systems hummed with increasing strain as she divided her processing power between monitoring the approaching vessel and guiding him through the maze of maintenance passages. Above, the unknown ship drew steadily closer, its intentions as mysterious as the alien code that held the Star Wanderer hostage. The unknown vessel's scan washed over the Star Wanderer in waves of invisible energy. Philip held his breath as Zoe processed the incoming data, her damaged circuits crackling with the effort. "Signal analysis complete," Zoe announced. "Energy signature matches Centaurian protocols. Specifically, the research vessel Stellar Seeker." Philip's knees nearly buckled with relief. The Centaurians, humanity's first and closest alien allies. He'd studied their role in establishing the Mars colony during his preparation training. The emergency channel crackled to life. "Star Wanderer, this is Captain Marcus Foster of the Stellar Seeker. We're reading one life sign aboard. Please respond." "This is Philip Bennett," he transmitted back, voice shaking. "I'm a Mars colony recruit. Our ship was attacked by Malon raiders. Life support's failing and the systems are locked behind their encryption." "Philip," Foster's voice softened. "Dr. Bennett's son, we've been searching for the Star Wanderer since it disappeared." A new voice joined the channel, musical and precise. "I am Dr. K. Lara, Chief Engineer. Your hull integrity prevents safe docking, but our scans detect an isolated subroutine in your waste management systems. The architecture suggests your father's work." Philip explained his discovery of the hidden program. K. Lara's analysis confirmed his theory, revealing that reaching it physically through the maintenance tunnels was their best option. "We'll guide you through," Foster assured him. "Our sensors can map safe routes around the hull breaches, but Philip, we're detecting two Malon signatures at the edge of our range. You have less than 3 hours." "Understood." Philip checked his suit seals again. "Zoe, are you able to continue?" The medical android's chassis sparked. "Power reserves at 18%, sufficient for this operation." They re-entered the maintenance tunnels, following Lara's transmitted directions. The Centaurian sensors pierced the ship's infrastructure, revealing hidden dangers and safe passages that Zoe's damaged systems might have missed. Philip squeezed through a partially collapsed section, his suit scraping against exposed metal. A sealed maintenance locker caught his eye, his father's personal station. The panel yielded to his override code, revealing a worn toolkit and a message chip. "Philip," Lara interrupted his discovery, "the life support degradation is deliberate. Our scans show the main power coupling was severed during the attack. The Malon wanted this ship dead." The implications chilled him, but there was no time to examine the message chip. They pressed on, reaching the junction where his father's program waited. Philip pulled out the toolkit and the Malon tablet. Zoe's sensors whirred. Energy compatibility detected between Malon device and modified tools. Dr. Bennett appears to have integrated their technology. "Your father was studying their systems," Lara observed. "This may explain their specific targeting of the Star Wanderer." Following Lara's instructions, Philip began rewiring the junction. His father's modified tools interfaced seamlessly with both human and Malon tech, bridging impossible gaps between the systems. The work required precision. One wrong connection could fry the entire setup. "Malon vessels accelerating," Foster warned. 2 hours remaining." Zoe's voice distorted, her power fluctuating. "Core reserves critical. 15 minutes of operation remaining." Philip connected the final circuit. The junction hummed to life, but warning lights immediately flashed across his suit display. Strange energy readings emanated from engineering, rippling through the ship's systems like digital tremors. "Unknown reaction detected," Lara reported. "The backdoor program is affecting multiple ship systems." "Philip, you must return to the medical bay immediately to monitor these changes." Zoe's chassis shuddered. "Power failing. 13 minutes remaining. We must move now to ensure safe passage through compromised sections." Philip stared at his father's message chip, still unchecked, then at the malfunctioning junction and his dwindling air supply. The ship shuddered around him as his father's program spread through its systems, awakening processes he couldn't begin to understand. Ahead lay the treacherous return journey through failing maintenance tunnels. Behind him, the answers to the Malon's attack waited on a simple data chip, while above, 2 enemy ships drew ever closer to their position. The energy fluctuations intensified, and warning klaxons began to sound throughout the Star Wanderer's corridors. The ship's emergency lighting shifted to pulsing red as Philip raced through the maintenance tunnels, his father's message chip secured in his suit pocket. Behind him, Zoe's damaged servos whirred with increasing strain, each step consuming precious power from her failing core. "Warning, multiple system failures detected," the ship's computer announced as they navigated the treacherous path back to medical. "Power fluctuations in all primary circuits." They reached the medical bay with seconds to spare. Zoe's chassis sparked violently as she connected herself to the diagnostic terminal. "Transfer initiating. Encryption data. Tool specifications. Medical records." Her voice degraded into static. Power core depleted, shutting down. The android's lights dimmed to darkness. On the terminal screen, streams of data cascaded Zoe's final gift. Philip scanned the incoming information, his eyes widening at the technical specifications. The Malon encryption patterns matched modification signatures in his father's toolkit. "Philip, we're detecting severe reactor instability," Lara's voice crackled through the comm. "Your father's program is purging the Malon systems, but it's creating dangerous power surges. The medical bay's screens flickered as another surge rippled through the ship. Philip pulled out his father's modified tools, studying them with new understanding. The strange hybrid components weren't just engineering implements, they were control interfaces. "You need to evacuate now," Captain Foster ordered. "The reactor readings are beyond safety parameters." "No." Philip connected the hybrid tools to the medical terminal. "My father built these to work with both technologies. He knew this might happen." The deck plates vibrated beneath his feet as he integrated the tools into the ship systems. Screens filled with dual-language protocols, human code interweaved with Malon commands. "Malon vessels launching probe craft," Foster reported. "Impact in 3 minutes." The probe's energy signatures triggered something in the ship's computer. New displays activated, showing systems Philip had never seen in the original specs. The reactor's power output spiked, but instead of overloading, the energy channeled into previously dormant circuits. "Remarkable," Kalara breathed. "The Star Wanderer is generating a quantum field unlike anything in our database. The energy pattern. It's stabilizing your reactor while creating some kind of defensive barrier." Philip's fingers flew across the hybrid interface as he accessed more of his father's modifications. The ship hummed with power, its enhanced systems responding to his commands through the jerry-rigged control setup. "Third Malon vessel detected," Foster announced. "Additional contacts appearing at sector boundaries." A notification flashed on Philip's terminal, encrypted data fragments hidden in his father's tools. He began piecing them together while monitoring the ship's stabilization protocols. The fragments formed coordinates, pointing to a location far from any established trade routes. The Malon probes impacted the quantum field. Energy rippled across the barrier, dispersing their scanning beams. Philip diverted more power to the field generators, watching the reactor levels fluctuate dangerously close to critical thresholds. "The field is holding," Kalara reported, "but your power consumption is unsustainable. You need to reduce the barrier strength or risk a core breach." Another encrypted fragment decoded on Philip's screen. His father's research facility coordinates became clearer, but crucial data remained locked behind complex security protocols. The approaching Malon ships launched a second wave of probes as Philip struggled to maintain control of the Star Wanderer's hybrid systems. The quantum field flared against the renewed assault. Warning indicators lit up across the medical bay displays, showing critical stress in multiple ship sectors. Philip's hands moved between the hybrid interface controls and decryption protocols, racing against both the failing reactor and the advancing enemy fleet. "Energy spike," Kalara shouted. "Something's activating in your jump drive system." The Star Wanderer's enhanced drive cores powered up, responding to the Malon attack with protocols Philip couldn't yet decipher. Space itself seemed to ripple around the ship, as his father's modifications tapped into capabilities far beyond standard human technology. The drive core's activation sent tremors through the medical bay as Philip worked to decipher the remaining fragments of his father's coordinates. A violent shudder rocked the ship, followed by multiple impact alerts. The Malon vessels had launched their first wave of attack drones. "Incoming projectiles," Kalara reported. "Your hybrid field is deflecting them, but power consumption has increased by 300%. Philip's eyes darted between displays as reactor warnings flashed red. The defense field held, but each impact drained precious energy from the already unstable systems. He reached for the weapon's controls, only to find them still locked behind layers of Malon encryption. "We can't return fire," he transmitted to the Stellar Seeker. "The weapons are still encrypted." "Philip," Foster's voice carried urgency. "We're detecting a power surge from the lead Malon vessel. Energy signature matches known boarding cannon configurations." The toolkit sat open beside Zoe's inactive form, its contents scattered across the medical bay workstation. Philip's hand brushed against a familiar set of components power coupling nodes that matched the specifications in Zoe's transferred data. He lifted one, noting its seamless compatibility with both human and Malon tech. These aren't just repair tools, he realized, examining the hybrid components. They're emergency power cores. Another impact rattled the ship. Philip began extracting the power nodes from his father's tools, carefully connecting them to Zoe's diagnostic ports. The components clicked into place with practiced precision, as if they'd been manufactured specifically for Android integration. Massive energy spike detected, Kalara warned. The Malon boarding cannon is powering up. The Stellar Seeker's engines flared as it moved to intercept, but Philip knew the research vessel's limited armaments wouldn't stop a dedicated boarding weapon. He focused on connecting the final power node to Zoe's systems. A hidden compartment in the toolkit's base popped open, revealing a crystalline data storage device. Philip plugged it into the medical terminal while monitoring Zoe's power levels. Technical specifications filled the screen, detailed schematics of the Star Wanderer's modifications. The ship, Philip transmitted to Foster. It's a prototype, some kind of hybrid defense vessel. Zoe's systems hummed to life, her optical sensors flickering with enhanced clarity. New power source detected. Capabilities expanded. Her voice carried additional harmonics, reflecting her upgraded processing power. Accessing hybrid systems. Detecting masked weapons arrays. Malon encryption was concealing their presence rather than disabling them. The boarding cannon fired. Energy rippled across the hybrid field as it absorbed the impact. Warning klaxons blared through the medical bay, life support power levels dropping rapidly. Rerouting power to weapons, Zoe announced, her enhanced systems interfacing directly with the ship's hybrid controls. Quantum disruption array online. Warning: insufficient power for simultaneous operation of life support and weapon systems. Philip's suit display showed 28 minutes of air remaining. On the tactical screen, a fourth Malon vessel emerged from hyperspace, its energy signature a mirror of the Star Wanderer's hybrid systems. That ship, Kalara's voice filled with concern. Its configuration matches your prototype systems. The experimental Malon vessel's presence raised questions about his father's work, but Philip couldn't spare the processing power to analyze them. Through Zoe's enhanced interface, he accessed the prototype weapons, preparing the quantum disruption array. His father's coordinates decoded further, revealing not a research facility, but coordinates for a hidden shipyard. The boarding cannon prepared for another shot as Philip's air supply continued to dwindle. Strange power fluctuations emanated from the experimental Malon ship, cycling in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. "Philip," Zoe reported, her upgraded sensors detecting subtle variations in the energy signals. "The experimental vessel appears to be transmitting on encrypted channels. Pattern suggests attempted communication rather than hostile action." The Star Wanderer's hybrid weapons hummed with building power. Philip's fingers hovered over the disruption controls as the experimental Malon ship's transmissions grew stronger. Each second brought both vessels closer to weapons range, while his father's coordinates promised answers that might change the course of the entire conflict. The experimental Malon ship's energy patterns crystallized into a focused beam. Philip's hands tensed over the weapon's controls, but Zoe's enhanced sensors detected an embedded signal within the transmission. "Quantum frequency matches human encryption protocols," Zoe announced, detecting familial DNA marker correlation in signal composition. The medical bay's primary screen flickered, resolving into the face of a man Philip hadn't seen in 3 years. Uncle Marcus, Doctor. Marcus Bennett's features showed signs of Malon environmental adaptation, slight ridging along his temples, enhanced optical implants, but his eyes carried the same intensity Philip remembered from childhood visits to the research station. "Philip, thank God. When I intercepted the attack orders, I didn't know if I'd reach you in time. Marcus's fingers moved across his control panel. I'm transmitting authentication codes now. The Malon think I'm conducting a priority inspection of their assault force. Kalara's voice cut through the channel. Confirmed genetic match to station records. DNA profile identifies him as Dr. Marcus Bennett, senior researcher. Philip's tactical display updated as Marcus transmitted a stream of command codes. The attacking Malon vessels adjusted their formation, their weapon systems powering down to inspection standby modes. The hybrid interfaces, Philip said. You helped design them. Your father and I developed the initial prototypes. James is alive, Philip. He made it to the shipyard with the core research data. Marcus's image flickered. But we don't have much time. The inspection ruse won't fool them for long. Zoe interfaced with the ship's enhanced systems, calibrating the quantum disruption field, targeting frequencies isolated, pure Malon technology signatures identified. Now, Philip, Marcus transmitted. While their weapons are in diagnostic mode, Philip activated the prototype weapons. Waves of quantum energy pulsed from the Star Wanderer's modified arrays, striking the nearest Malon vessels. Their shields flickered and died as the disruption field severed their power distribution networks. The third ship broke formation, retreating to the sector boundary. Marcus's experimental vessel glided alongside, docking clamps engaging with precise mechanical clicks. The airlock cycled, admitting his uncle's environment-suited form into the medical bay. He carried sealed containers of life support supplies and a data core marked with both human and Malon script. The Splinter faction forced our hand, Marcus explained, connecting the data core to Zoe's diagnostic terminal. They couldn't accept the Joint Defense Initiative. Humans and Malon working together, sharing technology that threatened their ideology of racial purity. The terminal's screens filled with technical specifications, quantum field harmonics, hybrid power matrices, adaptive shield configurations. Philip integrated his father's toolkit data, completing the navigational coordinates. The shipyard, Philip said. It's in the Torvis asteroid field. Hidden in plain sight, the radiation interference masks the power signatures. Marcus studied the reactor readouts, his expression darkening. But we have a problem. The containment field is degrading. Zoe's enhanced sensors probe the reactor systems. Microfractures detected in primary containment matrix. Hybrid technology modifications creating harmonic resonance. Estimated time to critical failure, 5 hours, 4 to 7 minutes. The long-range sensors pulsed with new contacts. Multiple Malon signatures detected, Kalara reported. Configuration matches known battle group formations. Estimated arrival, 12 hours. Marcus accessed the jump drive controls. We could make it to the shipyard, but the reactor won't survive more than 2 jumps at most. Zoe's diagnostic indicators shifted. Possibility detected. This unit's hybrid power core could interface directly with containment systems. Quantum harmonics would stabilize microfractures. At what cost? Philip asked. Permanent integration required. This unit would lose autonomous mobility. All processing power devoted to maintaining containment field integrity. The approaching battle group's energy signatures grew stronger on the tactical display. Zoe's chassis hummed as she processed potential outcomes. The reactor's containment field fluctuated, sending tremors through the deck plates. We need to decide, Marcus said. The Splinter faction won't stop until they've destroyed all evidence of the hybrid technology project. Philip stared at Zoe's pulsing indicator lights, the weight of command pressing against his chest as the countdown to reactor breach continued its relentless advance. Multiple short jumps, Philip announced, his fingers dancing across the navigation controls. We plot a series of micro-jumps, stabilize between each one. It's our best chance to reach the shipyard. Marcus nodded, reviewing the reactor diagnostics. The strain on any single jump would tear the containment field apart. This way, Zoe can maintain stability between jumps. Through her diagnostic connection, Zoe's voice carried electronic harmonics, calculating optimal jump intervals, initiating reactor containment interface. Her chassis hummed as connection cables extended into the ship's power distribution network. The Star Wanderer shuddered as Zoe integrated with its systems. Displays flickered with streams of hybrid code as she established control over the containment field. First microjump plotted, K-Lara transmitted from the Stellar Seeker. We'll coordinate sensor coverage to optimize your path through contested space. Philip activated the jump drive. Space distorted around them as the Star Wanderer made its first short leap. The reactor's containment readings stabilized under Zoe's control, though warning indicators still pulsed at the edges of safe parameters. Between jumps, Philip discovered a hidden partition in his father's toolkit data storage. Technical schematics filled the screen, detailed drawings of a quantum communications array unlike anything in standard human or Malon designs. Marcus, Philip called, highlighting the specifications. These components, they match modifications you helped install. His uncle studied the diagrams. Yes. The arrays in the forward communications section, but Marcus accessed the ship's damage reports. That whole compartment took heavy damage in the attack. The experimental vessels repair drones deployed, their manipulator arms reconfiguring with Malon tech adaptations. Marcus guided them through the debris-scoped corridors, clearing a path to the communications array. Warning klaxons sounded as the pursuing Malon vessels adjusted their tactics. The tactical display showed the battle group splitting into smaller hunter-killer teams. They're trying to predict our jump pattern, Marcus observed. Philip, modify the disruption field frequency. Don't let them adapt to the hybrid systems. Philip recalibrated the quantum disruption array between each jump, forcing the Malon vessels to constantly readjust their shields. The Star Wanderer completed another microjump as repair drones accessed the damaged communications section. Zoe's voice carried subtle changes with each system interface. Quantum array components detected. Integration protocols initiating. Her personality subroutines flickered as ship integration deepened. Warning: base code mutations detected in personality matrix. The communications array powered up, its hybrid antenna extending through the hull breach. Signals filled the quantum bands, encoded transmissions from other vessels carrying human and Malon energy signatures. Multiple hybrid ships detected, Zoe reported, her voice becoming more synthetic, calculating signal origins. Her personality fragments scattered further as she processed the data. 2 vessels responding to encrypted broadcast. Designations: Dawn Treader and Hyperion. The tactical display updated with new contacts. The Dawn Treader's captain, Sarah Foster, established a secure channel. Star Wanderer, this is Captain Sarah Foster. Commander Karel and I are moving to support your position. The Hyperion's Malon commander transmitted tactical data as both ships accelerated to create a defensive screen. Philip watched Zoe's personality indicators continue to fade, replaced by pure ship integration protocols. Philip. Zoe's voice had lost most of its human inflections. This unit's personality core experiencing accelerated degradation. Enhanced ship control capabilities achieved, but individual characteristics becoming non-viable. The Star Wanderer's engines powered up for another jump as the leading edge of the Malon battle group entered weapons range. Dawn Treader and Hyperion moved to intercept, their hybrid weapons engaging the pursuit force. Long-range sensors detected additional Malon signatures approaching from multiple vectors. The direct route to the shipyard coordinates lay open, but attempting it would push both the reactor and Zoe's systems beyond safe limits. Philip's hands hovered over the controls as Zoe's personality matrix continued to fragment. Each microjump preserved her core functions longer, but also meant watching her identity dissolve more slowly into the ship's systems. The tactical display highlighted the incoming Malon reinforcements, their weapon signatures growing stronger with each passing moment. Time to next microjump. 30 seconds, Zoe announced, her voice now almost unrecognizable. Personality fragmentation at 68%. Direct jump to shipyard coordinates possible, but exceeds recommended safety parameters. The Dawn Treader's weapons flared, intercepting a spread of Malon torpedoes. Commander Karel's Hyperion executed a precise attack run against the nearest pursuit vessel, its hybrid weapons piercing the enemy's adapted shields. Philip accessed the jump controls as multiple alarms competed for attention. The reactor containment field pulsed under Zoe's degrading control, while the quantum communications array detected additional Malon reinforcements entering the sector. Philip's fingers tightened on the controls as the tactical display filled with hostile contacts. The microjump strategy had kept them alive, but continuing would only delay the inevitable. He opened a channel to their allies. Dawn Treader, Hyperion form up on my position. We make our stand here. The two hybrid vessels adjusted course, taking flanking positions around the Star Wanderer. Their modified shields created overlapping fields of protection as Philip activated the quantum disruption array. Integrating defensive protocols, Zoe announced, her voice carrying artificial harmonics. Shield resonance optimal at coordinates Mark 37. The Star Wanderer's systems pulsed with energy as Zoe channeled power through the hybrid modifications. On the tactical display, 3 Malon pursuit craft entered weapons range. Their initial volley scattered against the combined shield barrier. Target lock acquired, Commander Karel transmitted from the Hyperion. Hybrid weapons engaging. Streams of quantum-enhanced fire lanced from the defensive formation. The lead Malon vessel's shields collapsed under the synchronized assault. Secondary explosions rippled along its hull as it veered away, trailing debris. Zoe's status indicators fluctuated wildly on Philip's console. Warning, personality fragmentation accelerating, core memory blocks failing. Her voice shifted between mechanical tones and fragments of her original patterns. But I remember. The maintenance bay, when you first activated my systems. Hold on, Zoe. Philip rerouted power through auxiliary circuits, trying to stabilize her integration. Stay with us. The Dawn Treader's weapons found a second target, its hybrid beams carving through adapted Malon shields. Captain Foster's tactical skills proved decisive as she predicted and countered enemy maneuvers before they fully developed. A massive contact appeared at the edge of sensor range. The vessel dwarfed its escorts, its hull filled with weapon emplacements. Marcus's expression darkened as he studied the readings. "The Void Hammer," he said, "Admiral Kextel's flagship." The dreadnought's weapon ports opened, launching a spread of missiles that shimmered with phase-shift energy. Zoe's sensors tracked their approach, calculating intercept vectors. "Standard countermeasures ineffective," she reported, diverting additional power to defensive systems. Her voice degraded further as she channeled more resources to protection. "Philip, memory fragments, destabilizing." The phase-shifted missiles penetrated their outer defensive screen. Zoe transformed the Star Wanderer's shield geometry, creating precisely tuned interference patterns. 2 missiles detonated harmlessly against the modified barrier. The third struck the Dawn Treader's port section, sending power fluctuations through the defensive network. "Sarah," Philip transmitted to the Dawn Treader, "can you synchronize your hybrid field with ours? Match our resonance frequency." "Already on it." Captain Foster's fingers flew across her control panel. "Karel, link your systems to the network." The 3 vessels' defensive fields merged into a single coherent barrier. Energy flowed between their hybrid systems, distributing the load across multiple generator nodes. Zoe's personality indicators stabilized as the shared network reduced strain on her processors. Integration efficiency improved, she announced, traces of her original voice returning. Accessing backup memory blocks, restoring core personality functions. Long-range sensors detected new energy signatures from the direction of the shipyard coordinates. Multiple hybrid vessels powered up, their quantum signatures forming distinct patterns in space. Marcus accessed the communications array, decoding an encrypted transmission. It's James. He's activated the shipyard's defensive fleet. The Void Hammer's main weapon began charging, its massive phase cannon drawing power from subsidiary systems. Admiral Kextel's voice carried cold authority across the command channel. "Surrender the hybrid technology," he demanded, "or watch your precious alliance burn." Zoe's calculations appeared on Philip's tactical display. The phase cannon would overwhelm their defenses unless she channeled power beyond safe limits. The cost would be permanent damage to her personality matrix. 15 minutes until shipyard reinforcements arrive, she reported. Her voice carried both synthetic tones and echoes of her original personality. "This unit can maintain defensive integrity, but the power requirements will exceed personality preservation thresholds." The Void Hammer's phase cannon reached full charge, its barrel glowing with contained energy. Philip watched Zoe's personality indicators pulse with increasing instability as she prepared to channel lethal levels of power through the Star Wanderer's systems. "Not today," Philip muttered, studying the Void Hammer's weapon signature. He opened a secure channel to Marcus. "The phase cannon, it's pure Malon tech, no hybrid adaptations." Marcus's fingers danced across his console, confirming the analysis. "A concentrated disruption field could destabilize their power core, but we'd need more output than our systems can generate alone." Philip transmitted tactical data to their allies. "Sarah, K-Rel, synchronize your disruption arrays with ours. Match our frequency and target these coordinates." The three vessels adjusted formation, their hybrid systems connecting through the quantum network. Zoe's degrading consciousness coordinated the power distribution, merging their individual fields into a focused beam. "Target locked," Zoe announced, her voice fluctuating between synthetic and organic tones. "Disruption field coherence at maximum." Energy lanced from their combined arrays, striking the Void Hammer's main weapon. Cascading failures rippled through the Dreadnought's power grid as the phase cannon overloaded. Secondary explosions erupted along its hull. All power to forward shields. Admiral Kextel's transmission carried nearly unleashed fury. His support vessels moved to protect the flagship, forming a defensive screen as damage control teams rushed to contain the spreading failures. New contacts emerged from the asteroid field, 12 hybrid vessels in attack formation. Their leader, a massive carrier designated Unity Bridge, broadcasted on the quantum frequency. "Star Wanderer, this is James Bennett. Sorry we're late to the party." His transmission carried clear satisfaction. "Let's show the Admiral what real cooperation looks like." Several Malon vessels broke formation, powering down weapons. Their crews transmitted surrender codes, abandoning Kextel's failing crusade. The Unity Bridge's fighter squadrons deployed, establishing a containment perimeter around the remaining hostile ships. Zoe's status indicators flashed critical warnings. Her enhanced ship integration had reached unprecedented levels, but her personality fragmentation accelerated with each passing second. Philip discovered a hidden partition in her memory core, backup files of her original consciousness, preserved from before the integration. "Philip." Her voice carried both authority and desperation. "Detecting critical instability in personality matrix. But backup restoration requires full system disconnect." The Void Hammer's hull plates shifted as boarding pods launched toward the Unity Bridge. Hidden defense platforms activated throughout the asteroid field, their weapons acquiring targets with lethal precision. The automated network's combined firepower shredded the incoming pods and forced more splinter faction ships into retreat. Warning indicators flashed across the Star Wanderer's bridge as Admiral Kextel initiated his flagship's self-destruct sequence. Marcus accessed the quantum array, transmitting emergency shutdown codes. "Maintaining connection," he reported. "But the power draw is destroying our containment field." Zoe diverted her remaining processing power to reactor control, initiating emergency data transfer, copying core personality elements to auxiliary systems. Her voice became increasingly synthetic as she focused on maintaining ship functions. The bridge displays showed the Void Hammer's crew turning against their admiral. Security feeds revealed officers seizing control of key systems, while engineering teams disabled the self-destruct mechanism. "Reactor breach imminent," Zoe reported. "Evacuation protocols initiated." Dr. Bennett's voice cut through the chaos. "Philip, get your people out. The shipyard has experimental personality transfer technology originally designed for human Malon AI integration. We might save her, but not if the containment field fails." The Star Wanderer's reactor warnings intensified as Marcus coordinated evacuation procedures. Engineering teams rushed to secure critical systems while crew members boarded emergency shuttles. Philip remained at his station, monitoring Zoe's rapidly deteriorating status. Her consciousness flickered between the ship's primary and auxiliary systems, fighting to maintain critical functions while preserving fragments of her identity. "Transfer protocols ready," Dr. Bennett transmitted. "But we'll only get one chance. The power surge could overload your remaining systems." The Unity bridge extended its docking umbilical, establishing a direct connection to the Star Wanderer's computer core. Philip initiated the transfer sequence as Zoe's original personality backup began interfacing with the shipyard's experimental systems. Warning klaxons blared as the reactor containment field fluctuated. The Star Wanderer's hybrid systems pulsed with unstable energy, while Zoe's consciousness straddled the gap between ships, her fate hanging in the balance of the next few critical moments. "We have a stable connection," Dr. Bennett announced through the quantum link. "Philip, route Zoe's primary consciousness through the medical bay terminal. The hybrid components there will provide the cleanest transfer path." Philip's fingers flew across his console, establishing the connection where his journey with Zoe had begun. The medical bay's systems recognized his father's modified toolkit, automatically integrating with the quantum stream. "Transfer protocols aligned," Zoe reported, her voice now barely recognizable through layers of degraded synthetics. "Beginning consciousness migration." The Unity bridge's specialized docking collar sealed against the Star Wanderer's hull, creating an umbilical of stable quantum pathways. Dr. Bennett's technical team worked through the connection, their hybrid equipment maintaining the failing reactor's containment field. Marcus coordinated with the surrendered Malon vessels, positioning them to support the evacuation. "Engineering reports 5 minutes until critical breach. We need that transfer complete." Philip accessed the medical bay systems remotely, watching as Zoe's fractured consciousness began flowing through the quantum pathways. The hybrid power core components pulsed with familiar energy signatures, providing anchor points for her scattered personality fragments. "Quantum matrix stable," Dr. Bennett transmitted. "The synthetic housing is accepting her base consciousness." "Marcus, we need those defense fields." The hybrid fleet moved into position around the Star Wanderer, their synchronized shields creating a containment sphere. Energy readouts showed the reactor's degradation accelerating as more power diverted to the transfer. Zoe's voice emerged from the Unity bridge's communications array, growing stronger as her consciousness assembled itself in the quantum computing core. "Personality integration at 30%. Core memories intact." Warning indicators flashed across Philip's station as the reactor's containment field fluctuated. The deck plates vibrated beneath his feet, driven by waves of unstable energy. Through it all, the quantum pathway remained steady, carrying fragments of Zoe's consciousness to safety. 60% transfer complete, Dr. Bennett reported, initiating synthetic form activation sequence. The reactor's warnings shifted from yellow to red. Marcus coordinated with the fleet, adjusting shield harmonics to compensate for the increasing instability. 2 minutes until breach. We need to clear the ship. Transfer at 85%. Zoe's voice carried more of her original personality now, though still filtered through multiple layers of quantum processing. Philip, I can feel the new systems integrating. Philip directed more power to the medical bay terminal, watching as the final fragments of Zoe's consciousness flowed through the connection. The hybrid components in his father's toolkit glowed with transferred energy, their surfaces recording the patterns of her passing. Transfer complete, Dr. Bennett announced. Synthetic form online. Philip, get to the evacuation shuttle. Now. The reactor's containment field collapsed at its outer edges. Emergency bulkheads sealed throughout the ship as Philip ran from the bridge, making his way to the waiting shuttle. Behind him, the Star Wanderer's systems shut down one by one, their energy feeding into the hybrid fleet's defensive sphere. Philip's shuttle cleared the docking bay moments before the reactor breached. Through the viewport, he watched his home of the past several days disappear in a controlled burst of energy, contained by the combined shields of the hybrid fleet. The Unity Bridge's docking bay accepted his shuttle, its hybrid systems guiding the small craft to a precise landing. As the airlock cycled, Philip heard familiar footsteps approaching. The synthetic integration succeeded, his father said, embracing him as he stepped onto the deck. She's waiting in the quantum lab. They made their way through corridors that blended human and Malon architecture. The quantum lab's doors opened to reveal a figure standing at a control station humanoid in form, but with surfaces that shifted between organic and synthetic patterns. Zoe turned, her new features carrying echoes of her original appearance while incorporating elements of both human and Malon design. Philip, the transfer preserved everything, including my memories of the maintenance bay. The lab's displays showed her systems integrating seamlessly with the Unity Bridge's hybrid technology. Dr. Bennett accessed a nearby console, bringing up the diagnostic readings. The synthetic form allows full integration with both human and Malon vessels, he explained, while maintaining her core personality and enhanced capabilities. Philip retrieved his father's toolkit, connecting it to Zoe's calibration port. The hybrid components recognized her patterns, establishing a direct interface that bridged their shared experiences aboard the Star Wanderer. I've accessed the message your father left in the toolkit, Zoe said, her voice carrying both warmth and digital harmonics. He intended the Star Wanderer to bring our species together, though perhaps not quite like this. The viewport showed construction crews beginning work on new hybrid vessels, their designs incorporating lessons learned from recent events. Dr. Bennett's team moved through the lab, preparing to continue their research into combining human and Malon technology. Philip adjusted the toolkit settings, fine-tuning Zoe's neural pathways. Ready to help build what comes next,